Today I'm going to be talking about Nope's plotline is pretty much this. Two siblings running a horse ranch in California discover something wonderful and sinister in the skies above, while the owner of an adjacent theme park tries to profit from the mysterious phenomenon. This is probably a comment that's probably going to give me a lot of heat, but to be honest with you, I have never seen a Jordan Peele movie in my life.
You need to leave!
But I will get to those movies. But what I found interesting for Jordan Peele in his career is that his directing career started off with a big bang, with Get Out being, one of the best movies of the 2010s. That's what I've heard. One of the best horrors or psychological thrillers of the 2010s. And when you start off your directing career with a high like that, it's really hard for you to really top that. And even if you do top that, there's still going to be people who think that you'll never touch that. But for me, I don't have that mindset because I've never seen his other movies. And I can confidently say that Nope is one of the best movies of the year. Nope isn't a movie that, I'm not trying to say it's better than Top Gun Maverick or it's worse than Top Gun Maverick. But what I say is Top Gun Maverick has a pretty, digestible plot that literally anyone could understand. While Nope is kind of like a movie that's up for interpretation, Some person might think the movie's about tragedy. Some people might think it's about family. Some people think it's about greed, or all three if it's your opinion. I don't need to, talk about how great the actors and actresses were. Tyrone Magnus, who's a really big YouTuber. And I remember him saying when he did his Nope review that Keke Palmer's character was annoying. And to be honest with you, I disagree. I like Keke Palmer's character. She wasn't annoying at all. She was a fun, charismatic character that worked for the movie. Daniel Kaluuya played a very different type of lead, and he's a very introverted guy, and maybe that's not your typical leading man type of personality, but once again I think Jordan Peele made it work for this movie. The supporting actors were great as well. Every single piece just seemed to fit for this movie to work, and this really didn't feel like a horror movie. This felt like a really big blockbuster that had something that it wanted to say. This movie also had a bunch of beautiful shots, and I guess spoilers if you haven't seen Nope already. It's been in theaters. I think it's still in theaters, and it just recently hit streaming. So if you haven't seen Nope, probably don't watch this part. But there's this beautiful shot of the UFO over the house, and then there's the people's bodies coming out of the UFO. I'm guessing all the blood, and it had this specific shot that had all the blood coming down on the house, and it was just a really great shot, and I would like to know how they did that. I did love the themes of this movie. Like I said, this movie has a bunch of themes that some people pick up on and don't pick up on. There's also themes on grief and how people deal with it, and some people deal with it externally or internally, depending on the person. Some people monetize their own trauma, Instead of going to therapy, Steven Yeun's character decides to open up this event thing where he's trying to tame this UFO, which the reason why he thinks that he could do that is because I guess you could say when he was on the show and he sees all his cast members get mauled, and Gordy the chimpanzee decides, I'm not gonna kill this dude, but I'm gonna fist bump him. And we don't know what would have happened after that. Maybe Gordy would have killed him anyway. But Steven Yeun's character may be thinking, I can tame this unnatural thing, and maybe he thinks that he could do that with the UFO as well. But that's far from the case. Once again, I don't have any bad things to say about this movie, if I'm being honest with you. I know a lot of people said the first hour or something was boring. I wouldn't say that. I'd say the first 30 minutes of the movie was boring. But once again, once they start getting into finding and trying to get this UFO or whatever you think it is, that's when the movie hits its stride, and after that point, the movie just gets really, really great. But if I had one criticism that I would say, which really isn't a criticism, but it's more of the UFO thing itself. It's not what I expected. The UFO thing, when I saw the trailers and stuff, I thought it was just going to be little aliens in it or something. But it ended up being this really creepy ridiculous creature that has its own thoughts, really primal thing. It eats up people, but it turns into this thing in the movie that I've never seen before in a movie. It's a very unique design and probably one of the most beautiful designs I've ever seen. Overall, Nope is a pretty great movie. If you haven't seen Nope by now, see it on streaming. I don't know if it's still in theaters. I'm pretty sure it is. But I'd give Nope an 8 out of 10. I think it's one of the best movies of the year. And it has a lot to say. And this isn't a movie that, I'm just going to forget in one day. It's probably going to take maybe a couple of weeks and months for me to actually really understand everything this movie is trying to say. And for someone who hasn't seen a Jordan Peele movie before, this makes me want to go see his other movies.